when it comes to the batteries, I think certainly what we hear, and the most searched item on Google is batteries. And I think there is some anxiety there about the price of batteries. We hear the horror stories. The guy holding up his bill from Tesla for 24,000. Is that a real concern now that you're seeing in the used market where people are coming in? They want to know what the state of health is. They're unsure about that. What can you explain about that?
Well, yeah, I think people accidentally make it more complicated than it is. So first things first, if you're buying a used car, you should know what you're buying. So you have to talk to the person who's selling you the vehicle and ask really good questions like, what condition is the battery in? And what is the warranty on the battery? And how much manufacturer's warranty is covering this vehicle, and what exactly does it cover, and until how long or how many kilometers? These are all things that should be discussed up front. And a consumer would be wise to also ask questions like, oh, okay, so historically, when do these things wear out? At how many kilometers should I expect to encounter a large service bill? Can I get a warranty that will cover against the most likely failures? And what do these cars look like at 200K, 300K, 500K? You can ask a dealer, what kind of things have you seen fail on these cars and why? And how much did it cost? These are all great questions for consumers to ask their dealers. And if your dealer knows what they're talking about, then they'll be able to give you fantastic answers to these questions. Regarding the battery, I would say that if you look at the beginning of the EV industry, and air-cooled batteries in the 24 kilowatt hour variety, pouch style cells from Kia and Nissan were not great in the beginning. The 2011, 2012 Nissan Leafs, they were actually an amazing car that did very, very well given what technology was available at the time. But those are not long-lasting batteries. Thankfully, you can retrofit a newer battery all the way up to the newest 62 kilowatt hour battery goes into the old 2011, 2012 Leaf. So you can breathe new life into these cars with a junkyard battery out of a car that gets wiped out.
Right. Do
So
you see that? Do you see that growth in that industry then, where down the road it's just easy
it's
swap
happening
out?
now.
It's happening now.
Yeah, it's happening now. We got a guy named Tom Sawyer in Victoria. He just put a 40 kilowatt hour battery in a 2012 Leaf. He brought it by the other day. It shows 400 kilometers range in a car that only went 160 when it was new, and the battery was like 10 grand. So
Hmm.
most people are never going to buy a battery. However, if you buy an older cheap EV with an air cooled battery that's not in great condition, then you have two options. Either well, like you have to buy the EV that's appropriate for you. So if somebody said, "Listen, I've got a daily commute of 100K," well, I would sell them a car that has an easily like an easy capacity of 200K or more to do a daily trip of 100, because I wouldn't want to set up a customer for failure. And then we have to talk about things like how much does the battery degrade on a yearly basis. If you lose 2% per year on a car with 400K range, well, by the time the car is like ancient and rusty and the doors and bumpers are falling off it and it has a million K on it, it's still going to have more range than anybody needs.
Right.
But if you're talking about a Nissan Leaf that only went 160 when it was new, and now it's 10 years old and the battery's at 50%, well, that car will actually be an amazing car for perhaps a retired person who only drives around within a 10-kilometer radius, because the car will have a real range of 60. But you give that car to somebody who works downtown and lives in Souk or lives in Abbotsford and wants to go to North Van, like it's not happening. So you have to
Yeah.
buy the right car, you know?
Yep.